Michele Sapper wanted to be a psychologist, but 8 years ago, that future was destroyed by a drunk driver.
She'll teach these 8th graders a lesson in courage, determination, and how drinking and driving can change a life forever.
Hi, my name is Michele Sapper. I'm the victim of a drunk driver. I'm going to explain what happened to me, who I was, who I am now.
Michelle's slow speech is a result of brain damage suffered during the crash. She was a junior at Cal State Northridge when the accident happened.
It was about 9:30 p.m. and I still had work to do on a term paper, so I left for school. I was out in Northridge, 1 block from my dorm, when it happened. I became the victim of a drunk driver. I never even saw him. He crossed over the center line. He bounced off another car in the number 1 lane, and then he barreled into the number 2 lane, where he hit my car head on, going about 45 or 50. He was driving a 1-ton pickup truck. He never even put his brakes on. From the impact, my brain was thrown forward to the front of my skull, and then it was smashed to the back of my skull. I was brought back to life with CPR by a doctor who lived nearby and heard the crash.
What did you see as just before you got hit?
I don't remember.
You don't remember a thing?
And hopefully, God willing, I never will. By the time I got to the hospital, I was in a deep coma. My family was told they didn't know if I would make it through the night.
Michele was totally paralyzed for 2.5 weeks and in a coma for 2 months. Later, she was moved to a rehab center where she learned to speak, walk, and do other things we all take for granted.
I'll never forget stories of the first time I tried to walk. I put my feet over to the side of the bed. I placed them on the floor, put my hands down, lifted myself off the bed, and fell to the floor. Can you imagine not being able to walk? At the rehab hospital, I learned how to walk, I learned how to talk, I learned how to take a shower, and basically all the things we do every day and just don't think about. After 2 months of rehab in the hospital, my family moved me home to continue therapy there. I had 5 different types: speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, cognitive therapy, and neuropsychological therapy. And that's a lot. Slowly but surely, we cut out the therapies that were no longer able to help me. I'm still involved in a little therapy. Memories of this period of time right after the crash and about a year before it are very sketchy. To be truthful, I don't have many. Fortunately for me, my family was there to fill in details so that I'd be able to do this speech. I think friends were a real tough thing.
They left you to a certain extent. You weren't the same old Michelle.
Well, they were there during my coma. They were there with my family, who incidentally moved to the hospital to be near me.
Wonderful.
And my friends were there during coma, but once I came out, the old Michelle was no longer there, but rather there was a girl who spoke in whispers, didn't remember people, couldn't eat food that hadn't been strained, was wheelchair bound, and so much more.
Much of your memory from the past is just about all of it's gone.
Well, it's not gone. Pieces of it are gone. I won't remember a relative, and yet I'll remember an old boyfriend's phone number. It's funny because after I remembered my brother and sister, but I did not remember my parents.
Wow. I heard you speak to a group of people, and you said that people think you're dumb because you are left with a different pattern to your speech, a slower pattern perhaps might be a good way to describe it. So they make assumptions about you which are terribly unfair.
They assume I'm either drunk, retarded, or stupid. The way people treat people who are different than them just amazes me. And because I am not in a situation where I'm able to just not understand, it's worse for me because I'm aware of what they are doing, and it's so frustrating. I was a junior in college when the accident occurred, and when I finally graduated last year, it had taken me 5.5 years to complete that final year of college work. All because a guy chose to drink and then drive.